So let's get going.
Okay.
And like I said, people will be able to join in. Folks, as you're tuning in, if you have questions, as you can see on the screen there on the right in the Q&A section, I've already put 8 questions in, things that I would like to chat with Kelly about. If you have questions for Kelly, feel free to, at the very bottom, it says ask a question or suggest a topic. So you can just click that and type. That would be the best way to get a question in the system, and you can upvote for other people's questions so that we know which questions you want Kelly to chat about, and we'll go from that way. But Kelly, let's get started with just a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
So tell us your U2 fan story. When and how did you become a U2 fan?
Okay. Well, cable TV came to my little town in 1983, and along with it, MTV. Did not have it in our house, but every house that I babysat for had cable TV in my little town. And that's where I saw U2 for the first time. And I remember it was the New Year's Day video, and they're on the horses and they're, in the snow. And it just seemed different from all the other videos that were out there. And so I was aware of U2 pretty early on. And I bought Under a Blood Red Sky, I think it was in 1983. And they were just kind of like they sat on the bench in my team of rock and roll people that I liked. I was more into Prince and Bruce Springsteen for like the first half of the 80s. And U2 were in there, but I don't know, they couldn't dance. Like, it was kind of embarrassing watching them. And so I really didn't quite get into them until about 1987. Joshua Tree, and then they were fully on my radar for the rest of my life.
So the ability to dance was a prerequisite in that era?
It kind of was. I mean, like I'd see Prince and he'd like do spins and do the splits and come up, and Bono would just be like hopping, on one foot and then the other, and it just seemed really dorky. I didn't like the white flag shtick that he did either. So anyway, that was my problem with U2 initially. They just didn't have the style. The mullet was unforgivable. But yeah, in 1987 they seemed to get their act together a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. So a fan from the mid 80s, but if I recall correctly, you didn't see a concert for like 20 years then.
Right. My first one was 2005. I live in the middle of nowhere, and getting to Chicago is not that easy sometimes. And I'm a teacher, and they do concerts on a Tuesday night, and I couldn't just take off and leave. So I wish I could have. I would have loved to have seen some shows in the 90s, especially. But it just was not to be. They almost came to the University of Illinois when I was a grad student there, but they backed out at the last minute. So that's my little tale of woe.
That's a long time to wait. 20 years.
Well, I like them visually. I like them in 2 dimensions and a little screen. It's weird seeing them in 3D.
I remember the. You wrote a review for at U2 after seeing them the first time, and I remember you talking about how it was so bizarre to like see them in person for the first time.
It was, and the first time I saw them in person, it was at the United Center from the nosebleeds, the second to the last row, and it was so far away from everything that I wanted to see that it was kind of, I didn't quite get it. And then the next time I saw them was with you guys in Portland, and then I got it for sure. And that was so fun.
You had the U2 Christmas Miracle.
Yeah. That was the absolute best.
That is okay. Sherry has joined us. Sherry,
hi, Sherry.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's going very well. How are you?
Oh, hanging out.
Nice
So
to see you.
I could just reach out and touch your nose. There it is.
all right, so we got one of the things I wanted to ask you, Kelly. Let's start talking about your, because you said you were a teacher, but now you're not a teacher. Now you're doing art. That's your life right now, right?
Yeah, that's my full-time job, and I've been doing that since 2010. So it's 5 years.
That's awesome. Good for you. Well, and you deserve it too. Okay, so let's go over. So one of the questions I put here in the queue. Where is it? All right. So I'm going to click the button that says Start Answering, and it should pop up on your screen.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to click Start Answering, and it's when did you start drawing and painting, and did you draw you two from the very beginning?
I guess not, because I've been drawing and painting since I was like 4 or 5 or maybe younger. It's just something I've done all my life. And I think the first time I drew you two would have been in college when I worked for the college newspaper, and I did like a little illustration of them to accompany some article. And then I didn't draw them again until like 2002. So yeah, afraid not.
So the first, okay, so the next quiz. So I actually put a separate question. Do you remember the first U2 related art you did? So it was for the college newspaper.
Yeah, just like a little cartoony style. I think it was Joshua Tree album cover caricature type thing of them, and yeah, it was just tiny. It was about that big. It just was part of a larger, what's going on in 1989 or whatever it was. And yeah, they were fun to draw. Bono's always been fun to draw.
Please tell me you still have that cartoon somewhere?
Somewhere. I mean, we've moved to this little rental house for the summer, and so I've got a lot of my stuff packed up in a garage in a box. So I wouldn't be able to put my hands on it, but I do still have it, yeah.
I would love to see that.
I'll try to dig it up.
Okay, so folks that are tuning in are familiar with Achtoon Baby, obviously. I want to... So we put out a call. Achtoon Baby actually predates you. You are, you are associated. People see you, and I mean, it's like, two peas in a pod. You are associated 100% with art, but it actually predates you, right? We had Joe Whitby was our original cartoonist until 2002.
Right.
And then we put out, and then she had to stop, and we put out a call for. If I'm trying to remember even how this worked, and maybe you remember it. We put out a call, and I guess we got a bunch of people sent us in submissions. Is that right? And you must have been one of them.
I was one of them.
There was a screening committee on that.
How many did you get? I never heard, how many people wanted that job.
It pays so well. It must
my God. So lucrative.
I don't remember. That's a good question. But Sherry's right. I remember that there was a group of us that reviewed all the cards. So it must have been a dozen, maybe 2 dozen. Sherry, does that ring a bell at all?
That's a shocker.
I think it was less than 12. It was definitely more than 2.
Okay. So, all right. So Kelly, I don't know if you've looked at this lately, but. I'm going to show you.
Oh, no. The first.
I am going to show you your very first.
Yeah.
Very first contribution.
Good luck.
And it's just this. This is December 2002, and it looks funny because we have to do. I mean, it looks different on the website. We have to do this way to screen share, but. So it doesn't have any of the website logo or anything, but it was just this one panel thing, and I think this is actually what you submitted as your entry.
Yeah, and I don't remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I had like little playing cards or like trading cards, like baseball cards with one for each of them, and sent it in. And
oh my God.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
But see, it's funny. If I looked at this drawing, I would not associate because
I totally changed. I totally changed my style like the next month. I thought it was going to be just like this one panel thing that I could do in a weekend or a day, and it just ballooned into something a lot bigger and a lot more realistic. I don't know. I can't explain
But
it.
the beauty with that particular panel is there are so many different layers to the joke on that,
Oh, thank
and
you.
and that's what really draws in the readers, I believe, is that it's never a simple comic, and I think comic is actually the wrong word for it, but it can reach you on so many different levels. So one of my
Thanks.
questions that I have is how much thought goes into one of your submissions? How many weeks of planning or months of planning or years of planning for a particular panel?
Okay, well, I think I have about a week where I'm thinking about it before I actually do anything. And it's usually just some idea that comes to me when I'm in the shower or wee hours of the night and I can't sleep. I'll get some idea, and then I definitely won't be able to sleep until I sort of resolve it in my head. Uh, kind of let it percolate for a week, and then it's about a week to make the artwork for it and write whatever I'm going to use to accompany it, and scan it, put it together. Takes a day, so it's a week and like 5 working days and a weekend, and I'll have it.
How
But
fun was it to carve Cheesehead Bono?
totally fun. Totally fun. It was fun to pick out the cheeses because there was like a black cheese, and it was like so easily carved, and I think I used Gouda for his head, and there's like a perfect hair color for him. It was all working at the time. The best thing though was when I made Beefcake Larry. Like a big piece of meat that had this
The
bone going
T-bone
through
steak,
it.
wasn't it?
Yeah, the T-bone looked like a nose, and then I just like put cake on for hair and peppercorns for the rest of them. Yeah, the in-between years when they are doing nothing, I come up with these crafty, weird ideas just to kind of pass the time.
And is that where Lil U2 came from?
No,
So
no.
so what's the genesis behind that?
Genesis of Lil U2 was I was just doing a regular cartoon like I would do with realistic watercolors, and it was a review sort of U2 Go Home, that DVD. And so I was going along with it, and one of the parts in the DVD, there's a beach ball that kind of appears on stage. It's like bouncing around, and Bono says to Edge, like, "Look, Edge, a beach ball," and Edge totally cracks up. Okay, and I was just wondering, well, what's so funny about a beach ball? And then in that particular panel, I went to a little U2 type 4-panel thing of Bono and Edge on a beach with a beach ball, and what do they say? And I just left it a mystery. And anyway, it was just like a little way to solve the problem of, Bono and Edge on a beach. I didn't have any pictures of them to look at, so I just made it up. And that became like just another way to draw U2. I ended up making them have longer arms and legs, just so they could do things like hold guitars and, move around. Otherwise, they're sort of like South Park type shortness at first, and yeah.
Is so Lil U2? Are they? How do I want to word this? Are they U2 as kids, or are they adult U2 but like just
Miniaturized.
They're really adult U2 miniaturized or cartoonized, but they have more of a childlike vibe sometimes.
I love the Lil U2 activity pack with
thank you.
make your own Larry hand turkey and
Yes.
just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think that was another year when they weren't doing much. Yeah. I gotta say, the era that I have drawn and painted you to the most has been my least favorite, just looks-wise, for at least Bono. I hated the longish Jackie O kind of hair and the scruff and the cowboy hat and glasses. It was like everything about him was hard to paint, and he's always a challenge, except for his
Is it
nose.
so? Yeah. So I mean, because they go through these phases, right? Like each band member, Joshua Tree Bono is very different from Pop Bono, which is very different from today Bono.
Totally.
Like is one era. So I mean, it sounds like different eras present different challenges then.
Yeah, and most of the cartoons that I've been doing have been present day stuff. So I don't really go back to the old stuff. I occasionally do, and I love it, but it's mostly just whatever's happening at the moment.
So Kelly,
Okay.
when Bono's bike accident happened,
Oh, yeah.
you made this amazing King Bono
Hmm.
painting.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of thought went into that, even going so far as picking the particular watercolor because it was such a special color. I was hoping that you could go into that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I
Do
should
we
try to
actually
actually
have
find that. Yeah, I can try to bring it up if you can hold on for a sec. Can you?
that? Sure.
Just a second. Um, yeah. Okay. So I can hit screen share,
Yep.
and it might take a second, I think, for that to come up. Shoot. Anyway, I guess I can start to talk about. I can't quite get it to come up. Um, no, it was weird when he had his accident because it was like he's my Charlie Brown, and Jeff's coming in to help, I think.
Hey, Jeff.
Get in here, Jeff. I just want to put this up on the screen share. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, it was like my Charlie Brown had been gravely injured, and I was really concerned. And my goodness, it just felt like, there we go. It felt good to paint him in healthier times. Can you all see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he just looked tough, and he looked, like a boxer. And I don't know, I just painted that the day after it all happened, and it made me feel better. And I'm so glad that he's bounced back the way that he has. I mean, it's been amazing. I was worried about his eye. I mean, I didn't want to have to paint a different eye on him. And, it's really amazing what doctors and like the human body can do to heal. It's incredible. So, yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's all.
that's a special type of blue, isn't it?
It's ultramarine blue, and back in like pre-Renaissance days, artists only painted holy type subjects with that color of blue, such as like the Virgin Mary's robe. That was about it. It was super expensive. Came from Afghanistan. It was a mineral that was ground up that was really expensive. So anyway, I painted him with that in hopes that I don't know, some good vibes would come from it, and I guess I healed him, so it worked.
So there's some questions from viewers. Let's do one from Joyce Smith, who says, there we go. Have you ever had the opportunity to share your art with a band member in person?
Nope. Thanks, Joyce. Good question. I mean, I don't even know what I would do if I met them in person. I think I would just gawk at them because, again, they're in 3 dimensions, and it would be like, to do the Charlie Brown metaphor, it'd be like I'm Charles Schultz and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and here's like real life embodiment of Charlie Brown, coming face to face, and it would weird me out. I think I would love to tell them how great they are and how much I value their music, but I think it would be hard to get past it.
Yeah,
And
I don't think
yeah.
Edge and Adams saw the birthday cakes with your
Oh yeah,
with your artwork on it,
yeah.
but
Right.
but they existed in the same room together at approximately the same time. So that's as close as I can,
Fair
you know.
enough. I'll take that. A mild awareness that there may be a cake with them on it in
Edge, we
the same
served
room.
you the head of Bono on a plate. There you go.
That would be delicious.
It would be a Tom Petty video.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
Wow.
there's your Alice in Wonderland link. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Okay, so our good friend Tim C.
Hey, Tim.
Also asked a question. And his question is, what is harder, doing the illustrations or writing the dialogue? In fact, not only what's harder, because your cartoons, they're not just, I mean, it's not just drawing. You're like telling a story and the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear just how the whole idea becomes from something that's in your brain
Mm-hmm.
to what we see on the website.
Okay, well, again, the idea just comes somehow to me, and I don't really, sometimes people will give me ideas, but for the most part, it's my own thing. I'll, write some notes on a spiral notebook, and I'll do some very rudimentary little drawings. I have a gigantic file on my computer of YouTube pictures that I will go through and, well, what will work image-wise with this? And this past one where I just did stuff about the I&E tour, so much easier. There's so much to choose from all of a sudden. But, in the off season, you get some paparazzi photos maybe. It's hard to stay really current with, some of the lesser known members of YouTube. Hard to find a good Adam picture in any angle you want. Anyway, I'll start working on the watercolors. I always do watercolor unless it's kind of an oddball situation. I'll paint those all week, scan them, put them in my computer, fiddle around with them, and write the narration or whatever you want to call it last. I'll have some notes, but I don't write the whole thing until basically the day that I'm putting it together. So I would say the artwork takes a lot more brain space than the writing.
Do you find sometimes the artwork may dictate what you end up writing? Like if you started off with a particular idea, but the artwork turned out a little bit differently, that can shape your narrative?
Well, when I first started doing the cartoon, it was space was dictated how much I could say. Like I at first had a 500 by 500 pixel box to put all this stuff in. So I really didn't know how much room I'd have to write in until I got the pictures arranged in that little square. And so why bother doing all the writing if I'm not going to use some of it, or I'd have to chop it way up. So those early cartoons, I was doing that very much on the fly. And yeah. Sorry.
It was space, like that's the whole story to Achtoon Baby that nobody knows except you and I, Kelly.
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
we've had this ongoing thing over the years since 2002 about how much space you have to draw, and back in 2002 the website was this thin little kind of because monitors were smaller, and so you were really limited. And then I remember also we used to have discussions about you know, because people weren't, you know, not everybody had broadband until, you know, what, 6, 7 years ago. So, you know, I was always, Kelly, can you make it smaller? You know, nobody's going to be able to download your images and all this sort of. But you know, like what, 5 years or so ago, it just like the canvas opened up, right?
Yeah, it became more of a full screen thing, and it was the best thing that happened to Achtoon Baby. So thank you very much for that.
I mean, we used to go back and forth on that. I remember.
It was hard to take a painting that's like, say, I don't know, 8 by 10, squash it down to like this little tiny stamp, and then write stuff next to it, and you know, have it be fun. But I don't know. I think I did the best that I could with it, and I really like being able to stretch out now. And I apologize for the early years. I used JPEGs, and there's all these little artifacts around the text and stuff. But now I'm doing pings, and it's a whole new ball game. So
Achtoon Baby is a very much representative of the advancement of the internet itself.
Indeed.
And the quality of content and the quality of imagery on the internet. It's you can look at the old ones and it's like, wow. But that was, you know, that's how it was back then. So
yeah. And I was a fan of At You Too since way before I got on board myself. I remember looking at it, I think 1995 or 6.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very early days. I remember, you know, I mean, I was kind of an early adapter for the internet, and I guess one day I just wanted to search for you too, and there you were.
All right, over in the questions. Who is your favorite band member to draw?
I think the Edge is the easiest one to draw, and Bono is the hardest one to draw, and I think he's ultimately the most satisfying if I get him right. Everything about Bono is tough, like I said, except for his nose. His nose, that curve, it's like I've drawn it so many times. It's just like I could draw his nose in my sleep. And then he's got sunglasses with reflections on them, and then eyes back behind that you can also see. Sometimes you can see a little bit of an eyebrow above the glasses, but as he's aged, his eyebrows have become lighter, and they kind of just fade into his skin, so you don't want to do them too dark. He's got this network of wrinkles that are absolutely fascinating, and it's just like, if you get the angles right, that's so Bono. And what else? He's got like these lines that kind of go around his neck in a cool way, and that's fun. His chin, he's got a scar, he's got like these little freckles over here. There's just so much to him. I love his hair now.
I was just going to ask you, how's his hair?
Love it. It's color. Because I hated his sort of like Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother hair from 360. Look at it. Anytime it's like Ted Mosby hair, and I hated it. No, I think his blonde hair looks weird in real life. You see like autograph signing photos, and it looks kind of off on him. But when it's under the lights, like I said in my last cartoon, it so works. It just glows, and it's just a whole new aspect of him.
Yeah, I don't think that there's an official Pantone color for that hair.
Yeah. There's a lot of yellow in it. There's some cadmium yellow, light, medium, cadmium red, and a little sepia and a little purple even. So that's my favorite color range. And it just happens to be on his head now. So I hope he keeps it for a while.
I can tell. So one of the questions, it's fascinating. I love when you start talking about that, because you see things, like, I have never noted he has freckles under his eyes.
Oh Jesus, Matt! Yeah. His ears. His ears are a thrill ride. Yeah, I mean, I always know if a photo has been flipped if the freckles are on the wrong side of his face, or the scar is on the wrong side of his chin. It's nuts. It's a special kind of crazy.
And here I thought the special kind of crazy was noticing that he had dental work done around the time of 1986,
Oh
as
yeah,
opposed to
for sure.
picking up on some of those different things, but
Yeah.
going to that infinite detail of is he wearing two earrings that day, and if they are, do they match, type of deal.
Yeah, yeah, and all the different styles of sunglasses that he's had, I have had to paint at one point or another.
The life of an artist.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing glasses right now, and glasses are so hard because you have to make them match one side to the other side, and his sunglasses are just especially weird. The little stars on the side. Jeez.
In the comments, Courtney Lavender says, and I'm not sure what she's replying to, but it says, in a triangle, I'm with you, Kelly. What's the triangle? The freckles?
Oh, yeah. They're sort of like a little constellation. It's on his left cheek, if that's what she's talking about. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Kelly, okay, so we didn't quite prepare as much as we thought we did. You already showed us the king bee image. Yeah. Were there some other images you wanted to show us and talk about and all that sort of stuff?
Boy, it's so hard to do.
Anything in particular? We should have probably prepped that part because there's some tunes that I.
Kind of got you buffering right now for me.
One of the ones I was hoping that you would talk about is the Bonopoly board.
Okay.
And how you came up with the utilities and the instead of go to jail, go to the studio, and it's Edge pointing to the studio.
Yeah, it's
every
just a
square on that Bonopoly board has something special about the band. Even the community chest is a topless picture of Larry, which I think is fantastic.
No, that's all Bono.
Really? I swear there was one of Larry on there.
I swear it's
Are they
not.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if Matt can get to the next one, but
you want to go to the next screen? Okay.
All the community chests, that's Bono there.
That's all Bono.
Yeah.
That's Bono there. That's Bono over there, and that's Bono there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Then the one that I printed out, somebody must have gone in and changed that on me.
Really?
Because I swear it is Larry from Zooropa era. So
okay.
I think somebody has
maybe
some
they
to do in the house.
Because it's Bono, Zooropa era, Joshua Tree, and I don't know, War or something like that.
But the fact is, it's a community chest.
It's community chest. And I just like that. What am I going to do with chance? And then, it rhymes with pants, so let's put different Bono pants up. The waterworks became, what am I going to do with that? And then I thought of Numb, the video, which starts out with the dripping faucet, just like in Monopoly. So I just put Edge under there. Yeah, when you're doing a cartoon like this, every joke kind of has to count because it's such a pain in the ass to make it happen, so I don't waste my jokes if I can help it. And even the free parking is the car is horribly parked, as Bono would probably park it, kind of like across a couple of spaces. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't know. Hold on, I can show that real quick.
Yeah.
Free.
Plus, you've got Electrico on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single square on
the free parking is a nice sports car parked in a bad way.
Oh, that's just fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, and lol, just kidding on the luxury tax.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, so in fact, one of the questions was, and that's for you now, Kelly, do you have a favorite of all the ones that you have drawn?
I I really like this last one. I think I really made myself vulnerable in my fandom. Just, I am this nuts. Just seeing them is enough for me. Just seeing the roof of their mouth, seeing, stitching on pants or soles of shoes. That's what I am into seeing. The music is secondary for me. So it was super honest, and I think the artwork was some of my best.
In fact, I'll click through.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that's
that's
T-Rex was my favorite. that I thought of just the night of the concert. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he's spewing dopamine, and I have got to make that happen visually.
And I love that there's a million people with phones, and there you are with your arms up and your neck back.
Right, man. That was totally me.
Oh, I love that. And then the Easter Island Edge, I love that. And then, but I got to tell you, I think quite possibly, well, that's really that drawing of Bono. That's based on our friend Justin Kent. He took a photo.
Yeah, and I got his blessing to do that.
That's fantastic. But let me get to, where is it? No, not you, Adam. Come on.
The whole Eagle Larry with the V-neck shirt and the plaid, that I had to turn that into my Twitter icon.
I was so honored, brilliant. Sherry. That was very sweet of you.
So this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's one of your best things that you've ever put on the website.
I think so. This is my best edge for sure. And I really changed the color of this. In the original, it was sort of an olive green kind of background. It was pretty dull. I mean, they don't have this much pink going on in their lighting, but it's sort of my favorite color to deal with. And I just made him more colorful. And his face, unlike Bono's, it's like he wants you to paint him. It's so easy with these angles, and the cap means you don't have to do hair. He doesn't look like anybody else on the planet.
And the fringe.
The jacket is fantastic. I've heard some fans say online that, on Twitter or wherever, that they hate this jacket. I'm like, how can you hate that jacket?
It's the coolest thing he owns. I wish he'd wear it more in the concert, but I can't imagine how hot that thing would be to wear. So at least he wears it for a while. I think it's amazing looking, and tough to paint. Obviously, a little fringe is no picnic, but I'll do it for you, Edge, because your face is so easy, and you've been great all this time.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go, and I'll show you my. So that Edge I love, but where's? Okay. 10008. So give me just a second here.
Yeah.
Sherry, go ahead and fill time.
Yeah. So, Giraffe Adam.
Giraffe Adam.
How did you come up with the giraffe on that? Because of the long neck of his guitar?
Well, he also kind of reminds me of a turtle too. I don't know, but giraffe just seemed a little bit more just his posture. He has a very long neck, kind of long arms and legs too, and the way he moves around is just sort of graceful and a little slower. It just seems really cool, and I don't know. I remember he had some kind of quote about giraffes way back years ago. I don't know if you remember it, Sherry, but something like some reporter asked him, I think, what kind of animal would you want to be? And he said a giraffe. And they asked him why, and he said, because you get to meet other giraffes. And so that has always been in the back of my head.
That sounds familiar for some reason. Yeah, I think I kind of remember
you get to meet other giraffes. What a great point,
Okay. So my favorite, and as good as that edge that we just saw was, my favorite edge that you've ever drawn was October 2008, and it was you had this brilliant idea. There was this guy that did a movie review of It Might Get Loud,
Okay,
and
yeah.
you took his text, took word for word, and just illustrated his review. And let me do the screen share because I love, like, the whole cartoon might be my favorite that you've ever done.
Really?
Just this one
So
shot,
cool.
this
Yes.
one shot, right there. That
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, I made his face way too round there, but that was
Oh, that's what's great about it.
making him a perfect egg shape. Yeah, yeah. I love that movie, and that review was fun too.
Oh my gosh! So anybody that hasn't seen this one from October 2008, it is so incredibly great. It's this
Thanks.
Was that the love letter?
Yeah. Dear guitar, I am so in love with you.
No.
Oh my gosh, it is so perfect.
Guitars too. The Explorer is totally fun to draw in like little cartoon form, a legitimate painting of it.
Oh gosh.
What a shape.
That's so good. That's just so good. So I think that but it's funny. You send me, you send in all the drawings each month, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the best one ever, and it's like every month. But I think actually that's probably still my favorite from October.
Thanks. I gotta say my favorite little U2 one is The Secret of the Tower, where this was back in the days where U2 were going to build a giant studio in Dublin. It was going to be like this big tower with like turbines at the top and an egg-shaped studio at the top, and it just sounded amazing. And I turned it into like an Edge origin story, like he does come from another planet, and this studio was going to be a device that would send him back to his home planet. Yeah, so
there it is.
the little, his giant head.
A hat. I want to wear a hat. Oh, so perfect.
Yeah, I love being able to draw them other eras too. So you had like a pop era, this is Elevation era, present day 2006 looking era.
Oh god, that's fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, I had fun with that one.
Good stuff. Okay, so there were two other things.
Sure.
These are what that I put into the queue. So the most recent one, based on you seeing the Innocence and Experience show in Chicago, and you describe your and the things you're looking at in concert, and so the question I put was, I think you watch a U2 concert differently than most fans. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm listening to the music. I'm kind of singing along. I'm not any kind of singer, but I'm enjoying it. I appear to be enjoying it the way other people do. It's not like I'm just standing there and like concentrating on every little thing. But I think it just means more to me to be able to view them with these eyes and no screen in between their actual size. It's weird. It's when you paint somebody several hundred times to see them in front of you breathing and making decisions and moving around. It's bizarre.
Is it also like I don't know what word, is it like research, or like you're studying them, right?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, like there's certain little things that you just don't get when you're just like watching a video on YouTube or whatever. Like there was this one part in I was very close to the E stage, and Every Breaking Wave was the song. And toward the end, I don't know why he's not doing it anymore, but he would try to hit this really high wave at the end. And the night in Chicago that I saw, he was having some voice problems. And his left hand, right before he sang that note, he was going like this, and then he tried to sing Wave, and he kind of messed up on it. And he was just like, pounding his chest, like, I'm sorry, my congestion or whatever is bugging me. But just watching his little fingers move before he tried to do the note, I love that kind of stuff.
We had at the most recent U2 conference that Scott Calhoun did, what was that, 2013 or so, we had a session with Unforgettable Fire, the guys in the tribute band, and they were showing how they play the songs and all sort of stuff, and they also said that they watch, or at least Mick did, the guitarist, that it's for him it's a different experience being at a concert because he needs to study the edge and see how he plays the song and all that sort of stuff. And so it's fascinating to me that we have these different things that we go to a concert for.
Right. I mean, the songs that make me cry are probably the same songs that make you cry, but it's this odd visual component that I feel the need to take in nonstop. It's just amazing to see them for real,
Okay. I think we're good on time. So
okay.
There was one other question that I put in, and that is, have there been ideas that seemed great in your head, didn't work once you started putting the tune together? Like, how often do you have to scrap this idea altogether?
I don't think I've ever scrapped one.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I just go with the idea that comes to me, and I feel lucky to get one idea per several months, or back when I was doing it one a month, somehow they were coming to me that fast. But I've never scrapped anything.
Man, I wish I could say the same about articles and blog posts.
You're awesome, Matt. Too hard on yourself.
There's been a lot of scrapped at U2 ideas, trust me.
You should release them, open the archives and let us all see them.
I think one actually involved Matt popping out of a cake at some point.
Ooh. That'd be pretty good, Matt.
Okay, so Kelly, I want people to know you have, you don't just, Achtoon Baby, we have no budget to pay you.
Right.
even though
don't.
You're worth $1 million, but we have no budget. So you're not making money doing doing U2 stuff. But so tell us about the other artwork you do. And I've seen your posts on Twitter or Facebook or your blog or whatever. You're getting things. You were just on what network was that?
AMC.
AMC. So tell us what happened with this.
Yeah, well, I have a YouTube channel that I'm easy to find if you search for me on YouTube, and I do speed paintings and tutorials, and I review paint products and stuff like that. And one speed painting I did was Walt and Jesse from Breaking Bad. I took a 3-hour painting and condensed it down to 5 minutes or something, and just my hand whipping around making these two guys super realistic. And an ad agency contacted me back in February and said, AMC's doing this thing with fan art and fan involvement with the shows, and we want to use your little Breaking Bad video. And I also did a Mad Men, and they wanted that one too. So it took about 6 months for them to put this commercial together, and I don't know if it's still on AMC. It's part of their Life Imitates AMC campaign. And yeah, it was awesome to see it last month during Fear the Walking Dead. And so that's one way I made $100 from that.
Wow!
Jackpot,
The starving artist.
Yeah, that was just one of the ways I make money.
Okay, Sherry has some special items on the wall. Get to it's some of your non-YouTube related work. So Sherry, do you want to, can you like zoom in or show that kind of stuff?
Yeah, here.
Thank you, Sherry.
Hopefully you can see these okay. But these are some of my favorite Kelly originals, even though they're not originals.
Prints.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the way that you get the light to reflect off of surfaces, especially the gift one, because you were using metallic bows that were just catching the light just right. And I still look at these pictures and I'm like, how are these watercolors? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How do you do it? And then you've even just posted the most recent one that you did on Facebook with the fishing lures and one of the swinging light bulb
necklaces,
lanyards that I sent out.
Yeah, that was so sweet of you.
How do you do that?
What's that? How do I do that?
How do you do it?
I've been doing it for 25 years, so years of practice. I use just the least amount of water possible to make the paint spread, and so I have more control of my watercolors than you normally would. The colors that I use are handmade in Holland, and the company Old Holland likes my work so much that they give them to me for free. Oh, there's some more.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not only in my living room, you're in my home office as well.
Look at that.
This is my other favorite, the Punk U2.
Yeah, like punk rock on Venus.
That's a special, because that's old, right? That's from the Atomic Bomb.
2003.
And that's also, you did in the one that you did as a gift for me, that we talked about, and I'll get all emotional if we go into it again, so let's not do that. But you chose that as your, I'm pointing over there because it's on my wall. You chose that as the representative drawing of your work. So that one that
is a Lil U2 version of that.
Yeah, I did a cartoon of a cartoon for that.
Look at that! It is. I never even noticed that it was Lil U2. How about that?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Oh, very cool.
That original painting is so old. It's like, what, 12 years now?
Yeah.
But the beauty with this one is the way that the Innocence portion of the tour is, and Bono's talking about, oh, well, how punk rock is that? This is totally what they're doing. Heck, even looking at Bono's leather jacket,
oh my gosh, yeah,
it could almost mimic the leather jacket that he wears at the start of the show.
That's funny. All those outfits, I had a book about the Sex Pistols, and so those are all Sex Pistols outfits that they are wearing.
Perfect.
Just made it happen.
Love it. Okay, we're coming up on an hour here. So, but before we wrap up, I want, so for people that are tuned in live and people that watch the replay back, let me do this real quick. So Kelly, you're available like to do commissioned artwork, which you do on a regular basis, and then you also sell your artwork too. And I'm showing this is Kelly. Just go to kellyeddington.com and you find, she's got paintings, portraits, her blog, videos, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But then down here on the right, there's the prints for sale, and that takes you to the ImageKind website. And then there's even some old Achtoon baby illustrations for sale. So and Sherry, that's what you did, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Whenever a ImageKind sale pops up, I like to save $1 or $2 wherever I can.
You should.
So that's how I took advantage of the sale in order to do the stuff in my living room. But you can not only view it online, but Kelly, aren't you going to have some work in a St. Louis library?
It's an art gallery in the OA Gallery in St. Louis. I was invited by a watercolor painter that I'm a fan of. Didn't even know that he knew of me, and he invited me to show my work there alongside a bunch of other invitees. So that's one thing, but the biggest thing that's happening with my art right now is it's going to be in a watercolor salon in Belgium, and yeah, it's kind of a big deal. It's sort of like the big leagues of watercolor. So that's coming up at the end of October and into the first part of November this year. Yeah, I'll post more about that as it gets closer, but it blows my mind.
Congratulations.
Three of my best paintings are being framed, and they'll be hung in basically a palace, and with I think it's 129 other watercolor artists, this big expo thing.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm thrilled about that. And another watercolor of mine is in China right now as part of a cultural exchange with the National Watercolor Society in China. So,
awesome.
Anyway.
Very cool. Well, we should probably, like I said, we're at the hour mark, so we should probably wrap up. If people, like I said, I would just love for people to, go to kellyeddington.com and support the artist that gives so much of her time and energy and brain power and talents to Achtoon. And it is an honor to have you on the crew. It's like the best artist in the world on our team. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. And I've got to say, just doing this job has made me a better artist, a faster, more accurate, better artist. No question. It's the 10,000 hours they talk about. I think I put them all in at Achtoon.
Oh, that's super cool.
On
awesome.
Each one of Bono's freckles.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're beautiful, Matt. Check them out.
All right, we'll wrap up. Joyce just said thank you in the comments. So thank you to everybody that tuned in live. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, thank you for that. Sherry, thank you for tuning in as well. And again, most of all, Kelly Eddington, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Matt.
All right,
awesome
take care. We'll see you guys soon.
Okay, bye.
All right,
bye everyone.
Bye-bye.